Hi, so welcome to MindShifters Radio, and today is Friday, January the 16th, 2026. And we welcome you to the show. And we were downstairs with Lincoln, so we were a little late getting back up here and getting the show back on. So we're glad you're with us, and hopefully a bunch more will pop in. And this weekend, we're having our monthly MindShifters and Still Point Breathing Club. So that's always exciting. Right now we have 7, 8, 9 people in it. And so if you're interested in that, let me know and I'll be glad to send you some information on it. And Michael, where are you? Susan, thank you for all you've done. I think we are ready to go to our final lap. I sent you the PDF of the whole book this morning, except for Michael's afterward. We've got his forward in there. Now we just need to get his afterward. And I think that we have pretty clearly gone through. One thing to watch for, and I've been looking for it too, is some of the pages, it seems like it will break and throw a line over to the next page, and maybe I need to do some adjustment there. And
do you want me to flag you on any of those, or are you catching those?
I've been catching them. So, and I found like one paragraph that I hadn't indented it like all the other paragraphs.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I found a page that wasn't numbered. So I think maybe we'll get it this time around.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Good work.
Thank you. Thank you for all you're doing.
I'm going to miss it.
Yay.
Hello, Michael.
Well, after she publishes it, you could always just go through it again.
I know. I'm going to have my own personal signed copy. I'm going to make sure of that.
You are.
And man, the next edition will be the next level of refined. How cool will that be?
Then you got to get back to publishing yours.
Oh, I don't think I'll ever publish it. I just want to see what it is first. Yeah, I'm eager to get back to it.
So welcome Susan and Cammie and Andrea.
And thank you, dear heart. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to start out with just a quick read. Terry Bowling has been, on the show and in the class. He's a fellow who's a contractor down in North Carolina, and spent 2 years at Heartland. And he's writing the book. I shared with you a book called Why Again. Terry has treated the Why book as his textbook, and I think the last time he was on the show, he said he's on his 14th read through it, and so he's writing a book called Why Again, based on the Why book. And I shared that he started a Substack, and I just wanted to share his January 4th Substack. I just came across it, and he put it out in his Substack as Insight Alert Key Thought Point. Hey, I just want to feel better. Goals, conscious and unconscious, drive our behavior. Conflicting and uncompleted goals create stress. The greater the conflict desire, the greater the stress / insanity. You have a deep, conflicting, unresolved goal or desire around blank. Do you have that? And then he offers in his Substack post questions to ask or resolve with yourself. And it's not what mom, dad, society, or idea of correct or proper behavior is the problem. So he's got, 5 steps. 1, what do I want from blank? 2, what does my idea of a perfect blank really look like? 3, what conflicts come up? 4, specifically and carefully examine any areas of confusion. 5, look for judgments, opinions, and beliefs. And then he has an acronym for judgments, opinions, and belief. and that is J-O-B. J being judgments, O being opinions, and B being beliefs. And so he offers in his Substack post that the job of his ego is to come up with judgments, opinions, and beliefs. And that was a good little reminder for when I have some work to do is, am I in judgment, opinion, or belief? So he recognizes that that's the basic job, or that's what the ego does. Conflicts and goals that are not in harmony with my concepts threaten the existence of my current ego position. Setting up emotional pain and stress to the point of self-annihilation, the ego wins when I die, threat removed. And he offers that he used a small case on purpose there. Once identified, you've achieved the first step in the process. And then in his Substack, he has a drawing of, I think it's a kingfisher bird that he's done in black and white. So Terry's Substack, if you want to tap into it, Terry's been doing this work for, I don't know, close, I think 30 years, 26 years, something like that. And he shared, a little while back on the show that he had initially his wife had taken him to a Y workshop in Sarasota, Florida, and he came to the MindShifters and Still Point Breathing workshop on the weekend and had his big awakening. So, Terry, we're delighted that you're on the team and that you're getting it out there and holding the space. And you can interact with Terry on his Substack. So it's Terry Ray, W-R-A-Y, Bowling, if you choose to do that. So I just thought I'd put that in there and let you all know about Terry. Welcome, Mark. Gee, we haven't seen you on the show in a long while. How do you be? Anything to share?
Oh, hi. I'm driving to Michigan to see Rex and his family. He's doing a Still Point workshop this weekend.
Right, I saw that.
I thought of you and thought, okay, I'm in the car for a few hours. What a perfect time to tune in and hear all the wisdom that you're dropping here. So delighted to be here.
Cool. Delighted that you are. Any particular thoughts on your mind? Anything to share?
I would say that I didn't call with anything to share. Happy to share some things that I've been exploring and excited about. If that would be supportive of the call.
Go for it.
So there's inspired by my healing process and rooted in all the teachings that you've brought into my life since 2012. It's been a while. I started writing this series of books, and there's 11 of them in the series. 3 have been published, and I started writing the 5th one, and it's on the second coming, and it's been a lot of fun because it's the first book that I've really researched. The other books have been mostly from my personal experience of going through my healing journey, and they're all fiction novels. But this one, I didn't know about the second coming outside of just little blips here and there. So it led me into the Word. It led me into kind of hearing, well, what do people think about this? What do different framings have? And it was a lot of fun to write. I finished the draft in early January, that first weekend. It wrapped up, and excited to put that out there. But it's really led me to see what's out in the world about, some people believe Jesus is going to kind of come down from the clouds, and obviously Scripture is very metaphorical. And the story that I was led to was pretty interesting for me, and I am curious about your perspective on it. If you have one, that I sure I would love to kind of hear how you think about it. Did I lose you? Or did you just go mute?
Excuse me, I'd accidentally muted myself. And Terry Bowling just come in, so I just wanted to say welcome, Terry. It's too bad you're late, Terry. We just read one of your Substacks, so apologize for missing that. But one of the books that I'm working on at this point is called Everything That They Told You About Me, including my name. It's all Greek to me.
Oh, I like that.
And it is signed Jesus Christ, and with, I think, I'm not remembering the citation, but I think it's James 5:1. But in James 5:1, it doesn't call him Jesus Christ, it's Jesus the Christ. One of the places where it acknowledges that the word Christ is not a name. In Aramaic, it's actually a title. Like if I were to, let's say, run for the mayor of Bristol and won, you would call me Mayor Michael, but mayor isn't part of my name. It's a title, an office that I hold. And in Aramaic, the word Christ, or what's been translated ultimately end up being the Christ, is the name of an office when one has awakened to the true being, when the mind of love, the mind of God, has come into, when we've made space and allowed it to come into physiology and become the source of our creative process. That's would be called being Christed. And of course, Yeshua showed us, here's what it looks like. And so the second coming for most people is when that awakens in them. That would be my take on it.
Yeah, that's mine too. But there's so much out there that presses a different narrative, and I think this is the big shift, and it reminds me of when Yeshua came the first time. He was hanging out, and people thought he was coming to overthrow the Romans. And when he didn't, in the way that they thought he was going to, even after his death, they kept looking for that. So there were other people who came and made claim to certain things. But I think that's the level of distortion, that the message was there about the Messiah, the one who was going to come and do what Jesus did and open that doorway for all of us to the Christ, and to live as another Christ in this world. And this is just one of those misconceptions that has gotten to be larger than life and has taken on a big role in certain denominations. Like they're looking for a guy coming. And I think that you look for a guy coming down from the clouds, and you miss the opportunity to live the way that Yeshua taught us to live.
Exactly, yeah. And you look at the other corresponding idea with that. They wanted him to judge, follow the rules that they'd established to control people. And instead of judging when he had the opportunity to do so, he turned and looked at everybody who was pointing their finger and said, well, okay, so if you haven't done this, then you can throw the first stone. And of course, everybody left. And still they talk about him, well, he didn't do it then. Well, yeah, he did say he wasn't here to judge. He was here to bring people to life. But afterward, later he'll come to judge the living. That they still want to keep that fear-based game going on, which is pretty bizarre.
Yeah, that's an interesting part, that whole part of the judgment. So I have a take on that. I'll just share, and I'd love to have you weigh in on it. So when I went through my healing process, I had this prayerful moment where it was just sort of recognition, like the light bulb went on. It's like, oh, the last judgment is the last judgment that I hold within me.
Yes.
And then if we all were to go through the healing process and get to the place of last judgment, there's an acceleration where now we're doing it together, and we will see the manifestation of that in the world reflected as the largesse of humanity has gone through their last judgment. And now we start to see, the metaphor of Revelations with the New Jerusalem. It's like, yeah, we're going to see a new world because we're new
It'll be the end of the
people.
world of perception. Yeah, it'll be the end of the world of perception. We'll stop living out of carbon-based memory and out of the past and start to live out of that mind that we're designed for.
Yes.
I don't know. Did the picture come through? I just posted it of the new book I'm working on. You can see it. Good. Okay, I couldn't tell whether it had come through or not.
This is going to be a new book.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, looking at the how there's actually a show, if you'd like, I'll send you a link to it, that I did a while back on the degradation of Yeshua and his teachings, and how when it went from the Aramaic, the meanings were clear, went into the Greek, and they didn't have a clue that the cosmology of the Aramaic mind and the Yeshua's mind compared to the Greeks is like night and day. And so the distortion and the degradation of his words, and then when it goes to Latin, there's another whole degradation. Then when it goes to the terrorism in the Old English, you look at the guy who directed the so-called translation. My take these days is that there is no such thing as a Greek or Latin translation of the words of Yeshua. It does not exist in the world. To be a translation, it has to be an accurate reflection of what was going on in his mind, and it doesn't exist. What we have are interpretations. And the man, you look at the history of it, and the man who directed the interpretation work of the popular King James Bible was such a vicious, not even sure what words to use, but extremely punishing. I mean, there are records. There's one record where he had a theological conflict. Some preacher had written something he disagreed with, and he had him put in prison naked in the winter in England, and kept him there for so long that when his trial came up, he was so sick he couldn't attend his own trial, and the sentence that he stood behind was that he was to have his ears cut off and his nose split down the middle. So this is the mind that created, you think about the distortions from the man who says this is about living his love, to here's a guy who's directing the interpretation work for the King James Version, and that's the kind of mind he lives in. Some pretty bizarre stuff going on. Yeah, it's pretty bizarre. Cool. Well, holding the space, and nice to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks, and thanks for welcoming me on the call. Appreciate it.
All right. Delighted. All right. Well, Terry, you got anything to share today, sir?
Hello.
Hey there. Welcome. How do you be, sir?
I'm doing good. I've just been working a little bit on the writing and all. I guess you caught that one post was supposed to be a note, but it went out as a post. They're shorter, but I guess that works okay. So thanks for mentioning that.
Well, actually, when I saw that, I went into your Substack, and the one I shared today was your post from January the 4th, where you came up with the acronym JOB for judgments, opinions, and belief, and that was your ego's job. So that's what we read today, just at the beginning of the show.
Great, yeah. And that was actually a direct result from David Hayes and I working together while we were out at Heartland. That
cool.
came together.
Nice.
And I've always wondered why it hasn't. I haven't come across it elsewhere, but it seems to fit pretty good. A nice little acronym, like you said there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely perfect. And to realize if I'm doing one of those things, that's where I'm stuck, and time to get unstuck. So a good reminder.
Been a
And I
busy
see
week, so
one-
I haven't been able to enjoy the show as much. So I'm glad to
Yeah.
be checking in here today.
Cool. I see that one of your posters or one of your, excuse me, just inhaled some water. Excuse me. One of your posters said, "Good job." Can't resist a good pun. J-O-B. So anyway,
yeah,
very
yeah.
cool. I see she's got a question for you there. Fabulous. So anything else exciting in your world to share with us?
Is that directed at me?
Yes, it is, sir.
Oh, okay. I thought you said another name. No, I'm doing good. Just listening today and hanging out. So I'm gonna sit back and
Cool.
listen.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Blessings. Well, does anyone else have anything to share with us? Anything on your mind? Questions, thoughts, answers, ideas? We've started into the topic of healing through relationships. And so anyone have anything moving for you? I don't know if anyone watched the video that Susan had posted and invited everybody who's doing the codependence to interdependence communication facilitated study to please do that for a Sunday session. But it was a good presentation. So if you look in the text series, there's a link there from Susan. So you might want to catch that. Have a look and welcome. Push that mute button if you have comments. Let's see what the comment section's saying.
I have a question for you, Michael.
Oh, please go for it.
So, and I am not sure if you want to get into this, but I have curiosity around Islam and how the dynamics in the world appear to be, of significant interest to see how that community, is showing up. And I understood from early kind of just curiosities that Muhammad followed Jesus as well. It was like I think he was Jesus was the base of his stuff, and yet
he is one of the prophets of Islam. Yes,
it seems like there's a lot changing there. I don't know what to think of, it, because I haven't studied it enough. So I was just curious how that is reflected in the teachings of Yeshua, and whether Islam actually abides by Yeshua's teachings or departs from it, and how that has manifested, and how that faith appears to be showing up in the world.
Well, my take is, if we look back, there was a time of the Crusades and a certain group of people who, vicious and violent, I mean, literally, they would go into towns and the streets would be running with blood in the name of Christ. You look at Constantine, and he says, I saw a cross in the sky, and I had to make war with this cross, and that's how. I mean, there's a time where people could have been saying, if I am hearing you correctly, could have been saying the same thing about so-called Christianity, but there are factions and people. My experience has been that anybody that I know, and I've known several people over the years that are from the Islamic faith, that they are a gentle, very sweet, and people who are really living in integrity and wanting to understand the way the world works and function within it from love. That's my take. Are there those who hijacked the religion? Yeah, it's been pretty tragic, but very much like, I mean, much worse stories in the time of the Crusades about so-called Christians and what they were doing. So I think we have to discern and look to the truth of the thing rather than some people who hijack it and take it in other directions.
Hey, Michael, can I weigh in here?
Please do, yes.
So yeah, my
Welcome,
computer
Susan.
Thank you. My computer was doing wonky things there, so I had to log out and log back in.
Oh, okay.
So you know how we spoke about in the codependency course, the compass? So for Mark, nice to see you, Mark. Your energy feels very familiar, even though I haven't met you in this life yet. Well, I'm meeting you now, I guess. So in the analogy I gave Mark was I talked about a compass. And imagine when the compass starts and you're going on a direction, and we're going to say we're going on a direction of truth, so true north. And if the compass declination is set even a couple of degrees off, and you're saying with Muhammad how he started with Jesus, and Jesus was imparting, transmitting his mind energy, what was the truth of what he knew. Jesus held the consciousness of the truth of God. He and the Father were one. And he then took that information in his mind, and then he downloaded it and transmitted it through communication, and then to be uploaded into Muhammad's mind and for his mind energy. But if the mind energy receiving the communication does not hold the consciousness, doesn't have the spiritual brain cells to perceive, then the declination is off right from the beginning. And initially it doesn't start bad because it's still coming aligned with center. But as the journey progresses, it deviates farther and farther and farther and farther away from the truth. So you move from truth into huge separation. And what you were saying, Michael, about even we're talking about responsible communication, the information coming in from a mind energy that holds the truth. But if we look to Greek, they didn't have the brain cells to perceive, to hear, and to see what Jesus, the translation, the accurate transmission of mind energy. And then it goes into Latin, and it goes farther into separation. Then it goes into Old English, and then finally into English. And so then the intention of the meanings deeply watered down. And do you remember I was saying how words are important in that call, Michael? Because even the language, some of the degradation, and you were using some words here earlier, and I'm really being asked to become aware of every word that I send out, of whether the vibration is holding the truth or the vibration where the energy becomes incoherent. And it's so funny that this conversation is coming up, because in dream time, it was all about this, showing me the Bible itself, the word that had already been in English, but also the Aramaic version. It showed me 2 books. And then it showed me that the information is here, the truth is here. Now, does the mind have the spiritual awareness to perceive it? And we overlay it with our mind construct, so we cannot perceive what's actually being transmitted. And that's every one of our journeys. Do we have the mind energy? And also I sent out a video with our codependency group around connection. So between even now and this group that we're in, that there is a field here. There's a relational field where it has the capacity to be a container of the truth of God, which is divine love, and there's no opposite. And every mind energy that interacts in this container brings a different consciousness into the container. And how do we hold the compass of truth in the moment? And we have to watch our voice, the tone that's interchanging in the group, the speech that's being used, the regulatory speech. All of that is important. And I love how you have this demonstrated, Michael, what they told me about my teachings, even my name, is all Greek to me. Jesus the Christ. So this container that we're here have the opportunity to emanate the Christ within each of us. So I just thought, it's that this conversation is coming up right now because, it was really, really powerful in dream time. And it kept taking me back to the truth and then the overlay of the mind energy that is marinated and programmed in distortion. And it's everywhere. And then our journey is to keep our minds pure. And this is where the trespass is so important. So anything that comes into the mind energy that trespasses the truth of the Christ, we must be vigilant in cleaning up that mind energy. Yeah. So I think Mohammed went off the mark. He went off the compass.
Well, again, if you know, at least in my experience, I've known over the years several people that are in the Islamic faith, and they would have a conversation more aligned with the conversations we're having here than the conversations the media is having about Islam.
Yeah.
I'm talking about every person of the Islamic faith that I've ever met. Would be much more in harmony with our conversation than the crap they're showing us in the media.
And
I think there's a distortion that's purposely being introduced there.
And
it's interesting you bring up. Go ahead.
I was just saying, and we have, this is the best part, because guess what? We landed, every one of us on this call, we landed in this space where truth is present. Truth is present right here. The Aramaic original version that you were involved in and the mind energy that you held to bring this into form, that we are resting right here in the Father and I are one. And divine love is absolute. And we get to hold that. And as we know, when we're coming up against cognitive dissonance and the distorted identity wants to take over. And I've experienced this many, many times when it really takes a great willingness and effort to see past the distortion, to see through the distortion and liberate it and allow it to be transformed back to love.
Thank God for forgiveness.
Yes. And breath, and the breath. We get to come into the current of love, which is through the beautiful breath that with each and every one of us holds. Yeah.
And then you hear Yeshua saying,
I'm breathing right
breathing
now.
with you. Yeshua talks about, and it's not an ego trip. He's saying, my words are your perfect life.
Yes.
He says, I'm bringing forward frequencies that if you tap into them, you're going to come into alignment with the energy field in which we live, move, and have our being. The energy exchange will be full, and that means you will be filled with that divine presence and that divine energy and be able to literally pour it into the world. And my take is that's our function as human beings.
Yeah, and this is another thing that happened to me in breathwork last night. So being in a body is really significant for the soul. I didn't realize how significant it was for the soul, because as a soul, you just get to, the growth that happens while in a body for a soul, because you get to interchange with an illusory world where you get to clean up your emotional field, your mental field, your physical, the physiology of the family system through the processing of these different, and the soul level energetic patternings. We do this through the interchange of being in a body. I didn't realize the importance of that, but it's really, really landed. And so even as a soul, and many of us were around at Jesus's time when all this was going down, and when we would have ended our lives, many of us may have been, and myself for sure, went and brought forward mind energy that was not in harmony with the truth because of the travesties that happened at that time. And because the mind at the time, knowing that we were the Christ, was presented, and this was the opportunity for all of humanity to break the veil and return back to the oneness of our consciousness, back to the Garden of Eden. And it was decided by the consciousness of that grouping. It did not have the mind energy. It would rather stay in suffering than choose the truth. And now we're back around. We are back around again, cleaning up our soul fragments and cleaning up our mind energy so we can hold the truth of God and return our consciousness within our mind back to the Garden of Eden. And that's all of our work.
Let's go for it.
And that means all of us, like all of us, this importance of the translation of the accurate transmission of mind energy of Yeshua. So you're being asked to bring this into the masses. What Jeannie's doing with her work, bringing into the masses, I'm being asked to do this teaching, these teachings of your work when I go to Kauai. So this is all so important. And we really do have to own and keep our voice, our speech, and our thoughts in alignment with the truth of God, and monitoring the vigilance of the trespasses of our own mind. And that, because the degradation, or all the words that were used earlier that you had used, I could feel the difference, the incoherent patterns in the energy of the words. And also we're all doing it. So I'm just using that as an example. Anytime, because we're bringing in that same old energy for them from that time into this new template that we're bringing back to God, and it can't having it reside there. We cannot return back to divine love with that incoherent energy, I guess is what I'm wanting to say. So all of us here are doing our path and our work to be able to bring the truth back to humanity.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay. It's interesting you bring up that word trespass. When I was a kid, we lived on a strip of land between a lake and a bay, Lake Ontario and Hamilton Bay. And we could walk in less than a quarter of a mile. We were at the lake. And there was a railroad track that went by. You had to cross to get in front of the lake, and a sign on the railroad track. Do not trespass.
Beautiful.
When you brought that up, my mind went right back to this, standing there. And of course, we went to church as kids, so trespass. And here's this sign that says, do not trespass. And I can remember thinking, as a kid, you're trying to, you don't swear, that sort of thing. That's trespassing. And I can remember wondering why they had this sign out on the train tracks that said, do not trespass. So it's kind of.
And what a metaphor. But what a metaphor, because you got to cross the tracks, right? You're crossing the tracks of the truth of us. We are created in the image of God, where there is only divine love, and the tone of the voice is pure, the thought form is pure, and so with the speech is pure. And then now you have to take the old mind energy of the non-being mind, the replicate within the replicate mind program, and you are wanting to enter into the truth of God, and you're taking yourself there, and right there is a railroad track that says no trespassing. That is the most spectacular metaphor.
It's funny.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So thanks, Mark, for bringing that up, because that was all in my dream. It was so powerful, and I could see in the dream this human mind seeking understanding, but not holding the energy of the truth, where the energy was resonating, and I could see that they were both there at this. They were there at the same time. And yet the mind energy that could not perceive it, no matter what they did, wouldn't be able to perceive the accuracy of the transmission of the mind energy of the Christ. Yeah.
And, we're just getting to the point in the Healing Through Relationships workshop of, and it ties in with this idea of trespassing against their own minds. And it's time for us in our relationships to stop telling ourselves a lie that someone else is responsible for the years of unresolved conflict and trauma that most people carry around in their lives. Got to stop trusting our lying eyes, constructs of the mind, and recognize that if I'm in a disturbed state, my content is the cause of my disturbed state, and that we can't have true relationship as long as we're trespassing against our own minds and without true resolution. And that's where, the unconscious needs to be open, and the real healing work needs to be done.
And that's why I sent out that video on the group there with Heidi Schleifer's the connection
It was
video,
excellent.
wasn't it? So, in the best part, so
Yeah.
for people, it's a TED Talk, and it's Heidi Schleifer talking about connection, and it is that, you know, she dials it down to three really components. One, there's a relational space between you and other. That's the core. And then there's a bridge. We have the capacity to build a bridge to the new world. I'm using it in the context of what we're talking about today. We hold the light of God within our field, and we've been graciously given this opportunity to find the truth. So we get to be the bridge from the old world to the new world, to take people across the railroad tracks. And then we have the opportunity to be the encounter of the true essence of God with other. And I will weave that in, as you said, about weaving that into really when and I really came clear like this, I didn't realize how the magic of your responsibility communication, that magic of unraveling and disintegrating the power person dynamic. I witnessed it when I watched the video between between Magda and Chuck. And also, I'm looking forward to what's going to be, because it's an energy game. There's a relational field. And even in her Heidi Schleifer's class, she's talked about Rumi's quote. There is a field between right and wrong. I'll meet you there. This is the opportunity to transform energy and return us back to the truth of God. And imagine we get to take with anyone in that responsible communication to focus on the field between me and other. That is where the vessel exists for the opportunity for the truth of God. But if I pollute it with my distorted mind energy or my incoherent mind energy, and I take that and put it into that vessel, and then if I haven't communicated correctly, the perception of the other, my energy wasn't clean as the sender of the communication. So if my energy isn't clean when I'm wanting to intend my transmission, then that puts an incoherent energy into the space between us. And then I get that reflection from other. The responsibility communication tool is the opportunity to go in extremely clean, and that we would have done our process work really well. So when we're coming up against the incoherent energetic pattern, we're actually only meeting ourselves. And it could have been an incoherent energetic pattern from 5 generations ago, from the grandmother and the grandfather having a dialogue, of which I might have been that person, that character at that time. And I get to keep love conscious, active, and present while that energy is, first of all, liberated, because the opportunity was the problem, me perceiving it as a problem, but it was actually the solution to liberate the mind energy that has been floating around in my consciousness for who knows how long. And it is so clear. So I'm excited for what we're going to do on Sunday. It's really, this has opened up a whole new layer. When I did the facilitation on Sunday or Wednesday, and then going there and what we're going to do on Sunday, it's almost like another petal of the rose has completely unfurled.
Yes.
And I see a deeper awareness.
Another piece of that as well that I think is really important to recognize is that incoherent energy, if I hold it in me, and I'm in denial, if I'm thinking or speaking as though someone out there is the cause of this incoherence in me, that's where the whole relationship substitution game is played.
Yeah.
And I'm literally using that incoherent energy, usually that came from interaction with the power person, to literally build the picture of this person that's in front of me. My eyes don't see a person. My brain generates an image out of whatever energies are moving in me. And if I'm in denial, then literally those incoherent energies that I refuse to responsibly speak about show up as pictures in my mind. And to be able to simultaneously speak consciously and responsibly and collapse those pictures is what really creates quantum leaps in the healing process.
And I think for all of us, and we might not have the awareness of this, but so we're operating in these vessels we call humans, and we're in the physiology of all of our ancestors. But deeper, I have the awareness, the subtle awareness to perceive what's going on at the soul level. the characters that need to match. And even seeing Mark on the screen now, there's a resonance there that I know we've all been together before. It's so clear to me. And these knowings, and even the work, he's written all these books, and now he's writing The Second Coming, and the work you're doing, this is not by accident. This is ordained by the sacred geometry of your soul to bring the truth of the Christ, the truth of God to this plane. And everybody's bringing, everybody that's in this type of circle, be guaranteed, because you already hold the spiritual energy, the soul mind energy, to be here to bring the truth to God. We would have done this many lifetimes to have this level of awareness.
It's time.
Yeah, it with the readiness and also, the awakening of the mind to be able to hold it, and the trespassing of that non-being mind. It's just simply not true. If I'm sitting in a place of pure divine love where there is no opposite, pure heart only sees purity. And if there's anything that's coming up in my field, even though the work that I'm doing especially since coming on your team, that anything that comes up in incoherence, that's carbon-based memory of the past, and trusting the process. And the other thing that was really cool, there was a lot of emotions releasing in my body yesterday, and just lots of tears, but I wasn't attached to it. I knew that this physiology had to process it. It's not mine. It doesn't belong to me.
You're becoming a thinker apart from the thought, the feeler apart from the feelings.
Yes.
The whole purpose of that Power Person worksheet. Yes.
Thank you for doing that Power Person worksheet, because it really is happening. I had the tears and I held myself through it, and there were some thought forms that were coming up that I was noticing, but I wasn't attached to it. And recognizing all that is happening is I'm purifying the physiology so spirit can fully incarnate here.
Upgrading the instrument.
That's it.
It's like moving from, I've got a $10 transistor radio, and as I do my work, I upgrade that $10 transistor radio body mind unit, the device, to, $100,000 stereo system.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where we're designed to live.
Yeah.
So, and ultimately, when it comes to recognizing the sensations that move through us, we can only feel the effects, especially in the arena of pain. We can only feel the effects of the hells that we've created within us. And if we created them decades, or in the family system, they were generated centuries ago, and we haven't surfaced them head on to, step up and work through them, then what most people do is blame whoever's handy.
Yeah.
Or they're upset. And they actually believe that by controlling them, then they can somehow control the hells they've created within themselves. And that's, that's the relationship based in matching bag of garbage. And it's the next level of work.
Yeah. And I loved it in your responsibility communication. Number 3, when we get to report, number 1, we commit that we're going to be, really here communicating in keeping the heart open, all those things, holding the field, the relational field. Number 2, we just talk about the the mechanical facts, no opinions, no judgments. And number 3, what I realize is awesome, because I get to describe my experience, my thoughts, my feelings, etc. But there's no you in there, because the other is only a reflector. So It's all about me. It's all about me. So saying that you did this and none of that's true, because it's my mind that generated my image of you, and then I externalized it into this reality box in the relational field. You happen to come in to resonate what was in my mind energy. And so I take full responsibility for that. And I want to be conscious, willing, and able to be able to see the mind energy that's held in incoherence, so I can return it back to love. Yeah, thank you so much. Like, just light bulbs are going on all over the place.
Cool,
yeah,
sweet. And I see Linda has her hand up. Let's see if Linda has something to share with us. Hey there, young lady.
Hi.
You're loud and clear, Linda.
Oh, I am.
You are.
I didn't know my hand was up. I'm going to put it.
Oh, okay. Well, your mute button was undone. So if you
Oh
didn't
my
have
gosh.
something to say, then we can let go of that.
Wow. So you heard me say, wow, right on. Yes, this is it. Oh my gosh, this is the best show ever. Now, that's what I was thinking. I didn't actually say it. Wow. But
Well, thanks for saying it.
Yes, I mean it. My heart is expanded here. And I am in conscious awareness of this opportunity I have with a friend of mine. I'm being so supported by all of you in just what Susan said about anything I think out there is in me. And it's so freeing to know that because, wow, I have the power.
You're sovereign, my darling, sovereign, power and authority over your own essence and
Yes.
every image you ever created in your reality.
You got to give up the blame game to get your power back. It's kind of like when you play country music backward, you get your dog back, you get your girl back, you get your truck back. Well, when you stop the blame game, you get your power back.
Well, when you're doing it and you're so excited and elated about it, that's when you want to share it with the world and tell everybody else they should do this.
Every mind, heart, and being on the planet is what we're going for.
Yeah.
And guess, you know what, Linda? Can I tell you a secret? The best way to demonstrate something and to teach is to be it.
Exactly.
And people feel the resonance of that energy and they're like, I want some of that. What is that person doing? Because their energy is so whatever they perceive it to be.
Yes. And that's exactly another point of extreme freedom.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't have to take responsibility for anyone else's joy or emotion,
Yes.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's real.
Just your own.
Breathe that one in, Linda. You are not you have no responsibility for anyone else's behaviors and no responsibility for anybody else's feelings. Only your own.
You know, in the context of our topic of healing through relationships, we've got to recognize that if we're in a relationship that's based in matching bags of garbage, which is what the world calls a love relationship,
Right.
It's not a love relationship.
Yeah.
A relationship that's actually based on love can never have anything but love present in it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And when we realize that, then the matching bags of garbage type relationships are perfect reflections, perfect creations. If we do our work, the relationship that's the matching bag of garbage is the relationship that will take us to heaven. The exact same relationship, if we refuse to do our work and stay in the projection game, is the relationship that will take us to hell. And that's when the body goes into its pain and its trauma and its headaches and its sympathetic dominance and, you know, all the things that people, when they're feeling them, want to look for, research, and talk about somebody else as the cause of them.
The Course in Miracles talks about special love. I mentioned that to someone because he's in the matching bags of garbage relationship right now. And all I mentioned was about special love. That special love, what the real love is, loving all of creation. And that's all I said because I didn't have the words you just said. So I was just wondering, where do I direct my friend, of course, to your site? But in terms of a nice, concise thing, I really appreciate what our buddies shared on the Substack. The fact that it was concise and
from Terry,
simple. Right.
I can send you, Linda, I can send you if you're willing. In terms of, so in the Course in Miracles, they talk about special relationship versus holy relationship.
Oh,
That's how it's referred, right? So when special, it's tied mostly to approval. If you love me, if you do what I ask of you, you do the goal I've assigned to you, then I'll love you. If you don't, I won't love you. So love is attached to approval. In holy relationship, you look to see beyond the ego. But I'll share that with the group also. And so you can have a copy of that. And guess what? I just want to say this piece. When you go to your friend, and even this piece, going in with holy relationship, that you commit to see beyond the ego, and then you get to create the field of holy relationship with this person, and you get to park just like the trespasses of your mind, with the perfect metaphor that Michael gave.
That the two of us had that.
Yeah.
And I said I love you to him when I said goodbye, and he said I love you back. And I mean, I'm older. He's not interested in me. So there's none of that relationship thing messing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have a relationship. You have a relationship. You are in relationship. So I just want to correct your mind there, because you are in relationship with this person, because he's showing up in your field, but you're not running it through the human, the lower mind, right? That relationship. It's potential from holy mind.
I'm talking about sexual.
Friendship. I knew that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so in the body, in the human, we are constantly relating. So we're relating with another on the physical plane. Can be through, this all about intimacy. So intimacy. I'm going to let you see into me physically. Just that's physical touch. I'm going to let you see into me emotionally. I'm going to let you see into me intellectually. I'm going to let you see into me spiritually. And what we haven't done in this world, we want to be in maturity in those areas before we ever move into sexual intimacy. But the world has it upside down and backwards. We go into bed with another, and then I have done that many times in my old self, where I would.
Never happen.
Yeah.
Fairyland. That'll never happen because of hormones with humans. Are you envisioning a few people will have maturity before they are driven by hormones?
I'm saying.
Well, remember that hormones. Remember, there's no such thing as matter. There's no such thing as a hormone. A hormone is just a piece of mind energy.
Yeah.
And so when somebody says they're driven by hormones, sex, that's just mind energy that's driving the process. And if your friend is ready to take on and really do another level of work, what you might want to do is send them to the page on the website where he can get the self-study of the codependence to interdependence communication practicum. There are 89 hours of video work there that takes it through the whole thing, and then he's welcome to join the Sunday and Wednesday facilitated study that Susan's doing with the codependence workshop.
You mean that's open to anyone?
Yes. Well, you mean the facilitated study? Is that your question? The facilitated study that Susan's doing is open to anyone who has purchased the Codependence to Interdependence Communication Self-Study.
Okay.
And that's a workshop that includes 2 personal code evaluations, 89 hours of video work, and then, of course, the radio show for support, and then the videos that have been created so far. We haven't added the hours up, but the study that has been done, where we went through the Power Person worksheet, Susan has presented several of different topics. So I don't know what we're going to end up. Probably another 50 or more hours that will be complimentary as part of that. So if he's really ready to take it all to the next level, that would be the place to go. And I'll find the link to it, and I'll drop it in the notes here so that you can easily pass it on if you like.
Oh, he has a full-time job. 89 hours, Michael. How would you do 89 hours?
Well, it's a self-study, self-paced. Some people might take a year to do it. Whatever time frame somebody wants to do it, that's up to them. How important is it? How quickly? I can remember back many years ago, I went through the breakup of a relationship, and I literally took 6 months off of everything. I did nothing else but my work around what came up for me in that situation. So, where's somebody at? How important is it to them? Is the time that they're going to take to go through the self-study. And everybody who's done, if you're listening, if you've done the codependency, if you're part of one of those intensives, you have a free set of links for that. I'd suggest you go back. It's been 2020, 2021. I promise you, if you go back and start listening to that course again, it's going to be a whole new course. You've got a whole new set of brain cells. You can't put your foot in the river twice in the same place. Go back and redo it, and it'll be light years different.
Wow, that's a good idea.
It's huge, even in the facilitating this work that Michael did before, both in 2 segments. So it's usually the videos alone are 5 hours a week. And then in my case, I'm doing the 5 hours a week, and then I'm prepping for the presentations on the Wednesdays and the Sundays. And it's been huge. Like it's opening up my brain cells, and I can't stress enough, especially watching Magda and Chuck's, you facilitating that, Michael, that I could see this is like, it's a magic pill, this responsibility communication, when you can hold love conscious, active, and present in the field, and leaving the field open, and really having a visual that there's an empty field right there, a relational field for love, truth of God to be active, present between these 2 experiences, these 2 human essences, because it's actually only one of us here. And so I get to clear the field to meet myself and my divinity through the eyes of the other, or the mind of the other, which is so powerful, so powerful. And if we all did that cleanup, this illusion would collapse before we could say boo.
I wish I could have done it with my parents. I really, but maybe I can do it now.
You can. It's never too late. And just because they're not in physical presence doesn't mean it's not complete. You get to use this beautiful tool and forgiveness. And one thing I noticed, that's why I sent the Heidi Schaefer's presentation. So before you go into responsibility communication with anybody, you have to be clean in your own field. And before you can be clean in your own field, you must do your process work, which is the tool of forgiveness, where we're collapsing the mind energy that's created the distortion. I didn't do that, by the way. That thumbs up, that just showed up. But that we have to clean up the distortion in our own field and the incoherent energetic patterns, so we can be clean when we were bringing our mind energy into relationship with other. And if it's not clean based on the feedback you get, because it's a feedback system. Well, and if they come back, yeah.
Susan, we can tell that you're excited about it.
I'm so excited. I can't help it.
I got it.
I am really excited. I know. It's like it's a game changer. My whole world is shifting before my eyes, because there is no. It's just me communicating with me. I'm very excited. Yes, I am.
Yeah. Well, appreciate that excitement. It's awesome.
And that example, your example.
Thank you.
Much love and appreciation.
Thank you so much.
And I haven't been able to find the link yet for the codependence, the self-study. So I'll make sure to have it. We'll put it in tomorrow's show. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a blessed day and the best year yet of your eternal life. Blessings.
Bye. Nice
Take
to meet
care.
Mark,
Bye-bye.
too. Bye.
Hey.
Thank you.